Hi, I'm attorney Gregory Dell, joined by attorney Cesar Gavidia, and today's disability benefit tip is about long-term disability denials from New York Life Insurance Company. And Cesar, in this video I want to give tips about a person basically just got their denial from New York Life. They're concerned about what the next steps are and what are the important tools and information that you immediately want to gather so that we can begin this process of trying to get New York Life disability benefits reinstated. And important to mention here that in 2020, basically, New York Life took over and acquired Cigna Disability Insurance Company, which was one of the larger long-term disability insurance companies. And basically, New York Life's one of the top 5 largest disability insurance companies in the world. But what are the first steps that you and information that you want to review to determine right away how you're going to get these benefits reinstated for a claimant?
Well, the first thing you need is that denial letter, all right? The letter that basically outlines the basis and the reasons that they've chosen to either deny or terminate your benefits, all right? That's going to really allow you to lay out that roadmap so that you can address all of these reasons and opinions as to why you're not eligible for benefits within that appeal. So you need that denial letter. It doesn't always come right away. Cigna sometimes will give you a call to inform you this is the decision that they've made and that this denial letter is going to follow up. And sometimes it takes a little time to receive, but it's absolutely critical you have that and you don't do anything until you receive that denial letter.
Now, New York Life is really Cigna, the same people, but they have a history, in my experience, we've reviewed no less than a couple thousand denial letters from New York Life. And they're usually, in my opinion, cookie cutter form where I could show you 100 of them and they're almost the same except for changing the name of the person, but it's the same basis for denial, almost the same exact facts, and they're cut and paste type denial letters. How important is specificity in that denial letter, and how does that shape your plan of attack?
Well, like you said, I mean, sometimes these are cookie cutter letters. They don't get really into too much detail. When they're pumping out hundreds of these, thousands of these potentially, they're not often going to be that detailed. But it's really important that you do gather the information and then subsequently follow up with that request for the claim file, because within that file, within that administrative file that New York Life has, that all of those reasons that they've denied you should be, the information you're seeking within that claim file. In other words, there's going to be all the documentation, any reports written by their experts or medical reviewers. That information, that documentation is going to be within that administrative file that you'll need to request.
All right, so when a claimant gets the denial letter, it's going to say you have the right to request a complete copy of your file, and that's what we call the claim file or the administrative record. And it's important for claimants to understand that that's free and that the disability company is required within 30 days by law, if you submit your request in writing, to provide that document. Otherwise, they could be subject to a $110 a day type fine. But you really need that claim file before you could even begin your plan of attack. And unfortunately, how many people do you see that go ahead and do appeals on their own, don't even get the claim file, and rush to do an appeal? Why is that bad?
Yeah, I mean, that is a critical misstep. I mean, if you're not requesting that file, then that means you don't have access to any of their medical reports. You don't have access to any of potential correspondence between the claims examiners and their medical reviewers. Oftentimes, there's going to be a list of questions and this dialogue between their medical reviewers and the claims personnel. And it's really important you understand what that dialogue is and what they're asking them to review and what kind of influence the claims examiners are having on these third-party reviewers oftentimes. All right? And you're not going to get that from just reading the denial letter. You're going to obtain that by the information, the documentation within that file.
And I know these claim files are often a minimum 500 pages up to thousands of pages. I know we've had Cigna claim files that are well over New York Life claim files that are more than 10,000 pages, and it obviously takes time. And are they organized with like a structured table of contents, or is it like a needle in a haystack type search?
Yeah, I mean, you could kind of expect to find, let's say, the policy in the first few pages, and then, it goes down from there in terms of medical records you'll find. But it is really kind of a needle in the haystack. If you think in terms of all the medical records that you've possibly submitted, in some claims you could have thousands upon thousands of pages of medical records, and that's all within this file. And there's no real sense of organization to it. Sometimes you have sections where you'll find, the medical reports and the correspondence with the medical reviewers. But really, it could be strewn in there, and if you have to spend your time really digging through that to extrapolate all that important information, all that important documentation.
So the tips to take away from this video about a New York Life long-term disability denial is you got to get that denial letter. Don't rush right away and try to do an appeal. And once we get the denial letter, we want a copy of the claim file, which can take upwards of 30 days to get. And there's a reason they give you 180 days to do an appeal. And once we have a copy of the denial letter, whether you contact Cesar, myself, or any of the members of our team, no matter where you live in the country, we want to provide you with an initial free consultation. And in that initial free phone consultation, we'll review the denial letter with you. We'll discuss what we think your chances of success are in getting the benefit reinstated. We'll also discuss some strategies and tips of ways in which we would go about handling your appeal. And then we'll talk about how we can assist you, the cost to assist you, the time frame to assist you, and answer all questions that you may have. And from there, we'll be able to put you in the right direction and hopefully help you to get your benefits reinstated with New York Life.